Hey, good evening. Uh, Glad that you can join us for this special webinar on the healing powers of turmeric and its main constituent, curcumin. I put this presentation together because uh, I was asked to speak the Nature Sunshine Convention in Canada last fall and introduce a product they were going to have that was going to be a curcumin extract, curcumin, and they wound up not getting it in time for convention. So I prepared this great presentation on turmeric, and then I didn't use it. And then they had me do a webinar using part of it, but I still had this really good presentation, and I thought that I'd like to go ahead and just share it with people since I'd put it together, and also since Nature Sunshine USA has come out with curcumin BP in the United States. So they have a product called curcumin in Canada, and then curcumin BP in the United States. But this is, of course, an herb that's widely available everywhere. So hope you'll all enjoy what I've put together here. So this is Curcuma longa. It's actually in the same family as ginseng and kind of closely related to ginseng. Ginseng and turmeric are both rhizomes, which are underground stems that are basically grow underneath the ground, and then the leaves come up from them. It's a very common spice in Asian cuisine, and it gives curries a yellow color. It also happens to be a really nasty yellow dye. So if you ever are out eating Indian food and it's got, turmeric in the dish, and you spill some on your clothes, it's really, really difficult to get out the stain. So it's a really, really strong dye. So I like this as a spice. I have been playing a lot with making Indian food recently. I've always enjoyed Indian cuisine, and I finally learned some secrets of how to kind of put it together and do some cooking. So I've been making butter chicken or chicken tikka masala, and it contains turmeric, and so I use turmeric as a spice. It has kind of a bitter, earthy flavor and combines well with other Indian flavors like ginger and cumin and garam masala and coriander and coconut milk. But it is just a very nice way to get the spice. Now, the principal constituent in this, the curcumin in turmeric, is not very water soluble. So one of the ways it's prepared with in Asian cuisine, and this is a common way to do this, is you put some oil in the pan, you add your chopped garlic and ginger and onions, and saute them a little bit, and then you throw in the spices and just saute them a little bit, toast them a little bit in the oil, and that brings out the flavor, but it also actually makes some of these constituents more easily absorbed. Besides being a spice, turmeric has a long history of use in both Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine. And it's been getting a lot of favor with Western herbalism and alternative health practitioners because there's been a lot of research done on this plant. And that's what I'm going to talk about, is some of the many studies that have been done showing the benefits. According to the National Institutes of Health, 61 clinical trials have been completed or underway studying the use of dietary curcumin for a wide variety of disorders. So these are some of the constituents that are in turmeric. The principal constituents are these diarrhea-peptinoids, which are known collectively as curcumin, and they have numerous properties that we're going to discuss tonight. In fact, primarily the research has been done on the curcumin in the thing. The actual spice contains some essential oil that is antimicrobial, also anti-inflammatory, reduces histamine, so it has some anti-allergenic effect, and also stimulates bile flow. There are some other constituents, turmeric, which is an antioxidant, also an anti-mutagenic and protects DNA. There's another constituent that activates white blood cells, helps the immune system. Another one that's known to inhibit carcinogens. So there's a lot of really good health benefits to turmeric. Now, this curcumin constituent, which is the primary thing that's been studied, is being shown in research to have anti-mutagenic properties, meaning it inhibits the formation of cancer cells in the body, which is a really nice benefit to having for a spice. And it also helps the body to detoxify cancer-causing chemicals in the liver. In fact, curcumin basically enhances some of the metabolic pathways for enzymatic detoxification in the liver. So it's a very good liver herb, and that's one of its principal uses in Ayurvedic and TCM medicine. It inhibits lipid per-oxidation. So lipids or fats, when they are oxidized and go rancid, it's oxidized cholesterol that actually is the problem in heart disease. Just regular dietary cholesterol has no ill effects on the body and has no correlation to heart disease whatsoever. However, if it oxidizes, it can have a problem. And curcumin inhibits the oxidation of lipids and cholesterol. It's anti-inflammatory, and that's one of its really good uses because it actually has some analgesic effect because of its anti-inflammatory action. It doesn't have a direct analgesic effect, but by reducing inflammation, it helps to also ease pain. It stimulates the immune function, inhibits viral replication, is anti-thrombotic, meaning it helps inhibit blood clot formation. It reduces muscle injury after trauma, and it inhibits arachidonic acid metabolism, which contributes to chronic inflammation. So basically, it's been shown to be antioxidant, anti-cancer, anti-tumor, anti-arthritic. This is turmeric, not curcumin, and a host of other benefits, and some of the studies that this is found in are included on these slides. Now, curcumin, like I said, is the chief ingredient in this. And one of the properties of it is it stimulates the gallbladder to produce bile. So it's a cholagogue, which helps to flush out the bile ducts. And it also is useful for a wide variety of digestive problems. As I mentioned, one of its main uses in both TCM and Ayurvedic is as a liver tonic herb. It has some hepatoprotective effect, meaning it protects the liver from environmental toxins. And it increases glutathione. Now, glutathione is an intracellular antioxidant that the body uses to recycle other antioxidants. So as an antioxidant gives up an electron to a free radical, it's now missing an electron, and after a while it becomes unstable and actually becomes a free radical itself, and so it has to be recycled by other antioxidants or replenished with electrons. So glutathione is a major antioxidant replenisher in every cell of the body, and it's particularly important in the liver and the eyes, which are two of the parts of the body that are most subject to oxidative stress. Now, glutathione is also extremely important in heavy metal detoxification, and heavy metal toxicity depletes glutathione. It also stimulates bile flow and eases nausea. It can have a nice benefit, like most spices have some carminative and digestive enhancing activity. That's one of the reasons why I love, Indian food and Thai food and other kinds of food that use a wide variety of aromatic herbs and spices, because when you eat that food, it really helps the food digest better by stimulating gastrointestinal secretions, and also helps keep down microbes in the small intestine. So according to the University of Maryland Medical Center, there was a double-blind placebo-controlled study that tested the effectiveness of turmeric in reducing bloating and gas in patients with indigestion. And they found it was very effective for that, and also that it increases mucus production in the stomach. So that helps to protect against the formation of ulcers. and is a good remedy for dyspepsia or indigestion. Now, turmeric and also the curcumin extract from turmeric has been studied as a potential remedy for ulcers and the inhibiting of ulcers. So in one study, there were 45 patients, 24 males and 21 females, aged between 16 and 60 years, to study the effect of turmeric on gastric ulcers. 25 patients, 18 males and 7 females, were endoscoped, and they were measured with ulcer sizes from 0.5 to 1.5 centimeters in diameter. So they gave them turmeric. Now this is the herb, not the curcumin. 2 capsules of 300 milligrams each of curcumin, which is not that much. I mean, that's how much I use a little more than that when I'm making a curry. But they gave that to them 5 times a day, 1/2 to an hour before meals, and also at 4 o'clock and then again at bedtime. So after 4 weeks of treatment, they showed that the ulcers were absent in 48% or 12 cases. 18 cases had an absence of ulcers after 8 weeks of treatment. So they added another significant amount with longer treatment. And 19 cases did not have ulcers after 12 weeks of treatment. So the longer that they were on it, the better. Okay, the rest of 20 cases were not found to have ulcers, and some were not endoscoped. They appeared to have erosions, gastritis, or dyspepsia. They received turmeric capsules for 4 weeks of treatment, and the abdominal pain and discomfort satisfactorily subsided in the first and second week. So it not only helped the ulcers, but it also helps gastritis and dyspepsia. An oral dose of 500 milligrams of turmeric extract produced a significant anti-ulcerogenic activity in rats, and turmeric also again increased gastric wall mucosa significantly. Now, when we talk about this is a pain reliever, which we're going to talk about in a minute. The cool thing about turmeric as a pain reliever is if you look at aspirin and a lot of NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, they're actually irritating to the gut. The inhibiting the COX-1 enzyme, which most NSAIDs do, inhibits the production of mucus secretion on the gastrointestinal tract, increasing the chance of ulcers and so forth. So this actually helps not only to relieve pain, but can actually treat heartburn, stomach ulcers, and other digestive problems rather than contributing to causing them. Okay. So another thing with turmeric is that it's been shown to lower cholesterol. It lowered LDL cholesterol levels and also prevented blood clots, so it has some really good benefits for the cardiovascular system. In this study, 18 rabbits were fed a diet containing 95.7% of a standard chow, 3% lard, and 1.3% cholesterol for 7 weeks to induce atherosclerosis. By the way, in these studies, they don't tell you that in order to get this cholesterol to do this, they have to feed them oxidized cholesterol, not normal dietary cholesterol. And oxidized cholesterol basically is found in powdered eggs, powdered milk, and powdered butter that are used in cake mixes and so forth, because when you process those foods like that, you basically cause the cholesterol to become oxidized. Whereas the cholesterol, say, in an egg or just regular butter or even red meat does not produce that effect. Anyway, but the rabbits were divided in 2 groups, 2 of which were given varying doses of turmeric extract. A 3rd group acted as control. So plasma and LDL lipid comparison, plasma tocopherol, plasma retinol, which is vitamin A, and other things were measured. The low but not the high dose decreased the susceptibility of LDL to lipid per-oxidation. So in other words, giving a low dose of turmeric decreased the susceptibility of LDL to oxidizing. Both groups had lower level of total plasma cholesterol than the control group. And moreover, the lower dosage had lowered the levels of cholesterol, phospholipids, and triglycerides. So that's again another beneficial study. Now, curcumin's antioxidant activity has been found to help prevent certain cancers, Alzheimer's disease, and cardiovascular conditions. And this may be due to some inhibition of eicosanoid synthesis. This was from one of the studies we found. Another study found that curcumin acts as a free radical scavenger, inhibiting lipid per-oxidation and oxidative DNA damage and preventing against neurotoxicity from lead and other heavy metals. Now that would make sense considering its ability to enhance glutathione, which is useful for heavy metal toxicity. Okay, there's been some benefit showing that turmeric is the curcumin in turmeric has a beneficial effect on the brain. It basically increases levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which protects the brain against injury and against stroke. So basically, it has some beneficial effects on the brain, including in this study, it was shown to actually help protect memory in aging, which any of us who are getting a little older, I'll be 59 in a couple of months, you know that your brain starts to get like not so sharp. So anything you can do to like protect your mind, we want to do, especially when it's something that's non-toxic and like turmeric and curcumin. Oops, went too far. A study using a transgenital animal model indicated that curcumin diminished plaque burden and overall inflammation in the arteries. Now that's really, really important. In other words, the curcumin actually inhibited the formation of arterial plaque and inflammation in the cardiovascular system, which is what actually begins the process of the plaque. It also has a synergistic effect with fish oil to improve blood flow and protect against cognitive design. And someone asked, will it dissolve blood clots? No, but it does help to inhibit their formation. One of the studies that was interesting is that curcumin shrank the size of plaques and reduced nephrite dystrophy in an Alzheimer mouse model. So while I wouldn't say that curcumin is a cure for Alzheimer's, it may be a beneficial remedy for help slowing the progress of the disease. Now, one of the great benefits of turmeric is its ability to basically inhibit inflammation. And one of the ways it does this is by inhibiting pro-inflammatory chemical messenger called NF-κB. And so that's the study. So one of the uses that's been around for quite some time is turmeric for joint pain. This has been studied quite a bit in, I think, Ayurvedic medicine, that basically turmeric can be very, very effective in terms of helping to relieve both rheumatoid and osteoarthritis. Says mice-fed curcumin displayed less infiltration of immune cells in the joints, that's in the rheumatoid or arthritis, less synovial hyperplasia, less cartilage destruction, that's important for osteoarthritis, and bone hyperplasia than control mice. It also suggested that turmeric might suppress type 2 collagen-induced arthritis. A lot of people have found that turmeric can be very beneficial for helping to ease the pain in arthritis by reducing inflammation and helping with joint healing. So here's a study that was done using turmeric in osteoarthritis. In one clinical trial, taking a 500 milligram turmeric extract twice daily significantly reduced pain and improved functionality compared to a baseline of 8 weeks of treatment with people with osteoarthritis at the knee. Now, this reduced their use of analgesic and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Now, this is important. non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which many people take regularly for arthritis pain, are really not intended for long-term use. In short-term use, they don't have any significant serious side effects. But in long-term use, NSAIDs increase gut irritation. They can damage the liver. They can cause problems with the kidneys. And they can have all these other side effects. Those are three of the main ones with prolonged use. So if you can take something that helps you reduce the use of these things for arthritis pain, that's going to really help. So the extract in this one was 20% curcuminoids providing 75% curcumin. So basically it was a concentrated extract that was used in that particular study. Curcumin has also been shown to help reduce inflammation in rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, and also in other inflammatory conditions. Now this is a study with it and rheumatoid arthritis. In a study of 18 patients with rheumatoid arthritis, taking 1,200 milligrams of curcumin was as effective as taking 300 milligrams per day of phenylbiazotine, a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug for reducing morning stiffness and joint swelling. And so there are several studies indicating that curcumin extract can be as beneficial as non-steroidal anti-inflammatories in easing pain in arthritic conditions, and that's a very, very valuable thing. And of course, a lot of people in our modern society are worried about cancer. Now, I don't think it's good to be worried about anything, but it is a good idea to do some things to protect ourselves against cancer in modern society. One, by reducing our exposure to chemicals and toxins, and second, by eating a good, healthy diet, avoiding, trying to get organic food and food that doesn't have a lot of pesticides and chemicals and so forth in it. But since we're going to get exposed to some of this stuff anyway, it's nice to know that there are things that we can use that are going to reduce this. So curcumin induced apoptosis, which is pre-programmed cell death. Basically, the way the body kills cancer cells is it induces them to commit suicide. Cells have signaling messages, signaling mechanisms on the outside of the cell, and when a cell goes deviant, like maybe it gets loaded with a viral infection or something, and the body recognizes that, it basically tags it with things that convince the cell to commit suicide or to die, and that's called apoptosis. So it actually in this study helped the cancer cells to commit apoptosis without having cytotoxic effects, which is really important. So it also inhibited the growth of cancer cells in the stomach, liver, and so forth. Now again, I wouldn't say that this is a cure for cancer, but it certainly means that curcumin could be effective as part of a program. There's some things showing that it might be beneficial in helping with weight management. Mice fed high-fat diets supplemented with curcumin displayed less weight gain and total body fat than mice fed a similar diet without curcumin. And in another study, it found that turmeric extract lowered fats in the bloodstream and reduced weight gain in volunteers. So that's another nice potential. As I mentioned, there's some antiviral effects with turmeric. There was a study that was done that showed that low concentrations of curcumin interfere with the replication of herpes simplex, the kind that causes cold sores. So it basically inhibited the transcription or the duplication or the reproduction of the viruses. In another herpes study, curcumin also helped with protection from type 2 herpes in an animal study with vaginal infections. So that's great. Curcumin being remember the liver, both the liver and the eyes in TCM are connected, and part of the reason for that is both of them need higher levels of antioxidants. The eyes because they're exposed to a lot of light and radiation, the liver because it has to detoxify chemicals. So it's not surprising that curcumin, besides helping the liver, also helps the eyes. In this case, it was shown that it was as effective as corticosteroids in treating an inflammatory eye condition. So it also may be protective of eye health. So this is some of the traditional uses going back. An Ayurvedic text going back to 250 BC suggests making turmeric paste to alleviate the effects of food poisoning. In India, turmeric is known to be warming and strengthening to the body and is used in times of convalescence when someone's recovering from illness. It's also traditionally a digestive remedy, which we've seen. It helps expel gas, improves digestion. It's also a folk remedy in India for joint swelling and arthritis. That doesn't surprise us. The research is backing up that's very valid. It is believed to normalize and purify blood flow and has also been used topically on injuries. And the herb was found in Hawaii, and the ancient people there used it to prevent and treat sinus infections and ear infections. So in modern uses, turmeric, again, has been shown to be anti-inflammatory. So it can not only help stop inflammation in joints, but actually stimulate joint repair. It improves the circulation and also reduces pain. It encourages flexibility and helps with movement in arthritic conditions. It stimulates tissue healing and has been used post-operatively to basically stimulate healing after surgery. The herb is also used to heal wounds, and applied topically, it will also help to stop bleeding. Now, I don't think the curcumin would do that, but the turmeric itself will. Internally, turmeric is used for skin problems, psoriasis, eczema, and acne. So these are some of the specific indications for turmeric: inflammation, pain in the ligaments or tendons, arthritic pain, both osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis, sprains, wound healing or scarring, eczema, psoriasis, and acne, sinus and ear infections, food poisoning, and poor circulation. Now, I've had some people saying, okay, so what's the dose? First of all, some of the benefits that we talked about, are attributed to turmeric as a whole, because the whole turmeric has, essential oils in it and has some other compounds in it. But turmeric is really easy to obtain as a spice. And like I mentioned, it works really well when you pair it with fats, because fats help turmeric to be absorbed. So it adds a pretty yellow color to dishes, so you can actually cook with it. When you get a standardized curcumin, where you've basically extracted the principal ingredient that's been researched, the dose is 400 to 600 milligrams 3 times a day. Most capsules contain somewhere around 400 or 500 milligrams. So a couple of capsules a day, maybe 3, is what you need. The actual herb in capsules would be 750 milligrams 3 times a day. That's about 1 to 2 capsules of the turmeric as an herb, not the curcumin. And then it's also available as a tincture. Now, since the curcumin BP came out for Nature's Sunshine, I've been taking that for about 2 or 3 weeks since it's been available. And the Nature's Sunshine product is, I think it's a 80 or 90% standardized extract of curcuminoids, along with a little bit of black pepper, which in Ayurvedic medicine is said to enhance absorption. it would be best to still take this with meals, and especially a meal in which you have a little bit of fat, because the fats in the diet help with the absorption of this. I had, after Thomas Easley and I did a webinar where he had done all this research on small intestinal bacterial overgrowth and leaky gut. I'd been doing some things to help my intestines because I had known that since I'd had a surgery some time back, my intestines had not been functioning as well, and I was getting a lot of gas and bloating and digestion. So I had been taking some bitters and some enteric-coated peppermint, and that had been helping. I started adding 2 capsules of the curcumin BP every day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night, and I have to say it's showing significant improvement in terms of my gastrointestinal tract getting better, less belching, less gas, less gastrointestinal irritation, and so forth. So I really like that product. And like I say, I really like to also cook with turmeric because I think it's just a really, really healthy spice and has a lot of good healing benefits. So I encourage you to look into using this. One of the nice things is it's safe. It's safe when eaten in foods, and a recommend dosage is, of course, anything you can do too much. I definitely would not exceed probably 3 capsules of the standardized curcumin a day. As for the turmeric, I would say that you could tolerate anywhere from about a teaspoon or 2 a day, or maybe as many as 8 to 12 capsules of just straight turmeric. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA of the United States, considers turmeric generally recognized as safe. There's no known harmful effects to this plant. I just want to mention before I go into the question and answer thing, the healing with water herbs that was originally scheduled to be after this, but I actually have it posted on modernherbalmedicine.com, the same place, and also at treelight.com, same place I have the turmeric webinar handouts posted, so you can go view that if you missed that on Tuesday night. We're doing, Thomas Easley and I are doing our advanced herbal training program upcoming on herbs for the fluid system, which you can register for. And with that, also want to mention that for the members of our Herbiverse program, I'm going to actually upload this PowerPoint to the member area for our members. If you are interested in our member program, it's $19.95 a month, and we have 4 different webinars. 2 of them are on the same topic. One is a Nature Sunshine version of it, and the other one is a generic version of the same topic. But you can, if you'd like to get the PowerPoint, sign up for the free 30-day trial, and as long as you cancel before the beginning of the next month, you could download the PowerPoint if you want to get it to be able to, share this with other people. So, and let's see what questions we have for tonight's webinar. I've never put turmeric in green tea with cumin and ground ginger, no. It activates white blood cells. Will a person with anemia have to be cautious? No, I don't think it has any effect on anemia. Can curcumin be taken for autoimmune disorders? I think so. I don't know of any contraindications for autoimmune disorders. I don't think it's enough of an immune stimulant to affect autoimmune disorders, and since autoimmune disorders often involve issues with gut health, it is likely that it could be helpful if the person has a lot of gas and bloating and gastritis and so forth that they need to work with. Answered the things about the dosage. told you how you can get the PowerPoint presentation. Doesn't dissolve blood clots. Yeah, the slides sometimes don't move as fast as the presentation because it takes time for them to disperse over the internet. Okay, ginkgo, yeah, someone says ginkgo helps stimulate brain circulation. Does turmeric work the same way? No, turmeric works more as like to protect the brain from damage. In other words, to keep the brain from being destroyed by toxins or whatever. The brain is, when you take out the water of the brain, it's 50% fats, and since turmeric inhibits lipid per-oxidation, it probably helps protect the fats in the brain from being damaged. How does one know how much to take and who provides good quality spices? And I did go, of course, the how to evaluate quality. I don't know. I have several places I've bought herbs and spices from that I've been satisfied with. Star West on the West Coast, Mountain Rose Herbal is another good place to get those things. Someone mentioned that in the talk at the Nature Sunshine Convention, Dr. J showed a slide showing that fewer people die of cancer in India than in America. And that's probably not just because of turmeric. It's because they tend to eat a little healthier than we do anyway. But also all the spices that they use in their food actually can be very beneficial for health. You can take curcumin anytime during the day. I would recommend that you take it with food, again, because it absorbs better in the presence of fats. Can this help to, okay, someone says the therapeutic of dose for someone with osteoarthritis of the hip, can this prevent surgery? I can't say it'll prevent surgery. I mean, that's a very individual case question. And the dose would be the same as the one I mentioned. It would be of the actual turmeric powder, probably about, I'd say, 6 to 8 or more a day. Of the curcumin extract, it'd be one or two. Maybe possibly you could go up to 3. And again, the black pepper in the Nature Sunshine Curcumin BP does make the thing more potent by, again, improving the absorption of the curcumins. Why do you have to use curcumin rather than the turmeric? The turmeric has kind of a more broad-acting spice. The curcumin, though, in a standardized extract, you're getting a concentration of those ingredients that you have to take far less capsules to get some of the health benefits of it, and for reducing inflammation and so forth, that's good. Someone asked, is it true that turmeric is more effective raw than cooked? I don't know. I actually don't think that it's necessarily more effective raw than cooked in terms of the things that we're talking about. Again, in Orient, it's often mixed with fats. Someone asked if I know if there's a difference between the curcumin in Canada and the curcumin BP in the US, and the answer is I don't know. I haven't looked at the difference between the two products. Can almond milk work as well with the coconut milk with the turmeric powder? Well, I don't think almond milk has as much fat as coconut milk, and the point is it's the fat in coconut milk that actually combines well with the turmeric to help make it more bioavailable. I mean, it's not that you couldn't use turmeric with almond milk, but in cooking, it's basically used with the coconut milk. If you'd like to get the access on the SIBO Leaky Gut webinar, you'd have to call our office, 416-2887 and say you'd like to buy access to that, and my son David would basically let you pay for the webinar and then give you, authorize you with a username and passcode to get on the class page and download the webinar and all the information. And by the way, that we really do need to make that webinar available as a product on a disc or something, because it was fantastic. It was just amazing, and the links between having this bacterial overgrowth in your small intestines and the numerous diseases that causes, along with, of course, the problem with leaky gut. You can have leaky gut without small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, but if you have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, you're always going to have leaky gut, and that's a big underlying factor in autoimmune disorders and many other kinds of chronic illness. The key about the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth is if you get a lot of intestinal gas or you belch and burp a lot after meals and stuff like that, you probably have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. When used on the skin for psoriasis, acne, and so forth, it's generally taken internally because I think it's working on the liver to help that problem, although I think you can also apply it topically. The problem applying topically is, remember, it's a dye and it colors your skin yellow, so just be careful not to get it on your clothes or you'll never get it out. I haven't found anything to dependably get that stain out. This works very differently than Tigo, which is antioxidant berries and is a cooling remedy that is very anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, and main effect of it is it's cooling, whereas turmeric is warming and it enhances liver detoxification, which is something that Tigo doesn't do. So there's huge differences between those products. Someone says, I've read that turmeric extract has contraindications not recommended with persons with gallstones, obstructive jaundice, and biliary colic. It stimulates bile flow, and here's the problem. If your bile ducts are blocked and you stimulate bile flow, it backs up kind of into the liver, so that's why you have to be careful with all cholagogues if someone has obstructions in their gallbladder. I don't know when to take the curcumin versus the turmeric. I'm taking the curcumin BP, but I'm also using the turmeric, the spice, and it is good for rheumatoid arthritis. It doesn't help dissolve calcium deposits, no. Someone says that they've been taking the curcumin BP one time daily for psoriasis and hasn't helped. You could try increasing it to 2, but you may need to do other things. It's not a cure-all. It's been used, just because something's been used for a condition doesn't necessarily mean that by itself is going to fix the problem. So it says, I understand about turmeric working in the stomach, but what about chest congestion? I don't know. I don't know about how it would affect that. Okay. Someone says they're under the impression that too much heat while cooking with turmeric will hurt it, so they add it at the end of the cooking when they turn the heat off. Okay. No, if you have a sluggish gallbladder, that's okay. It's if you have obstruction to the gallbladder, turmeric or any other cholagogue would not be indicated. Fatty acids are fats. So basically, fats are composed of fatty acids. So when you're taking an essential fatty acid supplement, it's actually a supplement that's fat. So yeah, you could mix it with that. And remember, it works, the turmeric and curcumin both work synergistically with fish oils in helping uh, um, with the cardiovascular thing. Yeah, you're right. It was a black pepper extract, not just black pepper. Um, Someone else says they were told that heating curcumin made it more effective. See, that's the thing. I mean, I thought in Indian cuisine they normally, use the spices and basically, uh, kind of stir fry them in at the beginning of the cook. But someone says they can use turmeric in cooking, but the curcumin capsules cause abdominal pain. Anything, see, the way I look at it, anything that when you take it, it doesn't make you feel good, it's not good for you. And why? I don't know. That's just one of those things that we're all different. And so there's no cure-all. There's nothing that works for everybody. If you try something and it doesn't work for you and it doesn't make you feel good, don't take it. That's my rule. I'll try something. If I feel good taking it, I'll use it. If I don't feel good taking it, I don't. And it's just individual differences. Someone says they mix turmeric in nut butters with honey and long pepper, and that's a great way to eat it. Thank you for that suggestion. I don't know what the thickening in the cooked food was because I didn't take the picture. I don't know that it helps you with sleep. I have had my gallbladder removed, and I've been taking it, and so it's safe to take with your gallbladder gone. Someone says that I said that if you smell turmeric when cooking, it's lost some of its health benefits. I didn't say that because I've never heard that before, so I don't know. That might be the case. Okay. All right. So I'm not answering questions that are off the topic of the curcumin, but I'm going to go ahead and someone says, can you take it with prednisone? Does it increase the prednisone effect? No, but it will reduce the need for taking the prednisone probably if you take it. But it's working by a different mechanism, so it's not going to be contraindicated. And for eczema, I would say it's used internally. Okay, now I just want to explain, someone asked about explaining the membership thing again. We have a membership program. It's $19.95 a month. You get discounts on all of our books, webinars, classes, products, etc. We have a member area. We have a whole catalog of webinars that we also include the PowerPoints. So we have that so people who subscribe to it can not only get the training for themselves, but they can actually use the PowerPoints to teach other people, to build their business, to promote themselves, and so forth. When you sign up, you have to call in to sign up. It's 800-416-2887. My son can explain more about how it works. But we give you a 30-day free trial so that you can try the program out, and then after that we bill your credit card $19.95 a month until you tell us to stop. So I am going to put, I've got the notes and handouts at Modern Herbal Medicine and treelight.com for people to download. But the actual PowerPoint I'm going to put in the member area so that our members can actually get this PowerPoint if they want to teach a class on turmeric. Okay, and I don't know if it can help with swelling in the lower back. And also that $19.95 a month there's 4 different classes. There's one, a business coaching class to help people develop themselves as a business person. There's an emotional healing class, help you work with people emotionally and mentally, called the Holistic Perspective. There's the Sunshine Sharing Hour, which is about the Nature Sunshine products, and then a generic version of that same topic called the Herbal Hour, where Thomas Easley is my guest. And I do think turmeric is a very good, it's not a direct pain reliever. It is an anti-inflammatory. But as an anti-inflammatory, since most pain is related to inflammation, I find it very helpful for relieving certain types of joint pain and so forth. Many people have found it helpful. It is in one of my favorite formulas for pain from Nature's Sunshine, which is IF Relief, which has turmeric in it as well as some white willow and some boswellia, and I find that to be a really good pain formula. But for people who can't take the willow bark and so forth because of its inhibition of the COX-1 enzymes, turmeric is a really good product. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Hope you got some great information about turmeric. And so, good night, and we'll hope to catch you on a future webinar.